Its campus in a big way. We explain that and more straight ahead.
Students are now allowed to register to get a vaccination here in Kent. We have the reactions after many got the shot today. The details behind another Ohioan who has been added to the list of people facing charges for taking part in the January 6th Capitol riot.
And the Derek Chauvin trial continues as the former officer faces charges for the murder of George Floyd. TV2 News starts right now.
This is TV2 News.
Big changes are coming to the Esplanade on campus. Thanks for joining us this sunny Tuesday. I'm Nadine Battah.
And I'm Jenna Borthwick. Today, large pictures from artists around the world are being placed throughout campus for Kent State's new exhibition.
Our reporter Gianna DaPra has more details on what exactly this is. Hi, Gianna.
Hi, Nadine. Yes, today the Global Understanding Research Initiative had began to set up their newest exhibition outside Kent State all along the Esplanade for people to see throughout campus. It's called the Import-Export Exposition. Now, this exhibit will stretch from the arch to the front of campus all the way down the Esplanade to the University Library. It consists of printed images onto an 84 by 60-inch canvas that is laid across large metal frames that were put up by hand today. Created by J. Leah Garcia and Joseph L. Underwood, this project focuses on the imbalances and inequalities of global import-export systems, shedding light on topics such as migration, tourism, natural resources, agriculture, and so much more. Now, according to the press release, 25 artists from around the world were chosen based off of their work and how it reflects the impact of these systems on their homes. So, this outdoor exhibit will run from April 5th through May 15th, and in addition, there will be a virtual lecture along with the exhibition from the artist DeWitt L. Petros from the School of Art Institute of Chicago at noon Friday, April 23rd. Now, this exhibit is sponsored by Kent State Global Understanding Research Initiative that lays focus on the impact of globalization and the different communications across diverse populations and national borders. To learn more on this exhibition, follow the link at the bottom of your screen. Reporting in Franklin Hall, I'm Gianna DaPra.
Thanks, Gianna. U.S. News and World Report ranked Kent State University in the top 20 best library and information studies programs in the country in its 2020 edition of Best Graduate Schools. Kent State is the only Ohio institution included in this ranking. Overall, the university is recognized in 12 new national rankings in the 2022 edition of Best Graduate Schools, including 3 specialty rankings.
And more rankings, Study.com's list of the best theater bachelor's degree programs ranked Kent State Theater and Dance 50th in the United States. Kent's program is one of 2 in Ohio that made it onto this list. The rankings were made based on academic and career resources, the quality of education, and faculty, along with other assessments. Well, Nadine, it's finally starting to feel like spring. You know, I wake up in the morning and it's chilly, and then it's really hot right now, so I don't know what's going on.
Absolutely, Jenna. I really enjoyed the weather coming in today to the newsroom. It was a little bit windy, but, you know, still the sun was shining. We do have our weather anchor, Kyle Vasil, today to tell us a little bit more.
Hi, everyone. The warm weather we have been having will last throughout the night, but tomorrow morning it will start to cool off, and we will start to have some cooler temperatures throughout the week. Currently in Kent, it is 69 degrees right now, and it feels like it is 69. The dew point is at 42 degrees, and the winds are coming from the south-southwestern direction at around 17 miles per hour. The humidity is at 0%, and the visibility is at 10 miles. So if we look at rest of Northeast Ohio right now, so going around, Kent was at 69 today. Overall, Ohio was in the 70s today. We had a really warm day. Sandusky was around 70, Mansfield 72, Worcester 71, Canton 72, Youngstown 70, Ashtabula 71, and Cleveland 72. So overall, the same temperature. Now, if we go into later tonight, so at around 8 p.m., it's going to be 64 degrees and mostly cloudy skies. At 10 p.m., it's going to be 61 degrees and mostly cloudy skies, and it won't really change when we get to midnight. It'll be 61 degrees with cloudy skies. So overall, it's going to be a warm night. After the break, I'll go into more detail on what tomorrow's weather will look like and the 7-day forecast. Back to you, Nadine.
Thanks, Kyle. With Senator Rob Portman's seat being vacant by next year, Representative Mike Turner is exploring a run. Turner took to Twitter on Monday and released a new biographical video and details about a listening tour around the state. He shared there wasn't a specific timeline for reaching a decision in order to spend time talking with Ohio voters. Representative Turner says the video was response to people urging him to run for Senate. A Columbus man has been charged for taking part in the January 6 Capitol riots. Caleb Jones, 23, allegedly admitted to a witness that he gained access inside by climbing an exterior wall of the building. Court documents state Jones called a witness from inside the Capitol building, as well as sent text messages and videos from inside. Jones was arrested and released on his own. On Monday, he is ordered to appear in Washington, D.C. at a date later to be determined. As the Fieldhouse enters its second week of vaccination, students are now allowed to register, with many students getting the shot today. More on their reactions.
Protest witnesses, questioning, and more. The latest on Derek Chauvin's trial and the death of George Floyd when we return.
This is Orange County's TV2, broadcasting from the campus of Kent State University. Streaming online at kentwired.com.
Even though there is so much against us, you will see me wearing a face covering.
And even with my face covered,
you will see me.
As a son.
As a friend to everyone I meet.
As a fighter for change.
As a woman who stands up for what I believe in.
So join me in wearing a face covering.
To help stop the spread of the coronavirus.
Because this is one small act of kindness that has the power to bring us all together.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Araceli. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back. The Kent State Fieldhouse held its second vaccination clinic today and will continue to do so every Tuesday for the rest of the spring semester.
Our reporter Raygene English was on the scene to tell us more. Hi, Raygene.
Hey guys, the university hosted its second Fieldhouse vaccination clinic today. This one marks the first time Kent State students were able to get their shots. This is because Monday, Ohio's vaccine plan made Ohioans 16 and up eligible for the first time. I stopped by the Fieldhouse today to hear from students waiting in line for their vaccine. One thing I saw, students going with their friend groups and making a day out of it, as they said. The specific group I spoke to arrived together and said it was a 15-minute wait after filling out certain paperwork. Overall, students said it was an enjoyable experience and commended the organization that went behind planning the clinic. The school's vaccine clinics are held every Tuesday from 10 to 6. To sign up, you can visit the state's vaccine eligibility site. Reporting in the TV2 Newsroom, I'm Raygene English.
This morning, the World Health Organization held a briefing on their investigation into the origin of COVID-19. So, case closed, right? As Britt Conway reports, not even close.
If we let our guard down now, we could see a virus getting worse, not better.
This virus that's caused millions of deaths around the world.
COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
That was March 11th, 2020. But exactly when did this start? How and where? The World Health Organization has a 400-page report on its probe into the origins of COVID-19, finding it likely started spreading no more than a month or two before it was noticed in December 2019 with a cluster of pneumonia-like cases connected to the Huanan seafood wholesale market in Wuhan, China. One author of the report says the most likely path this virus took was from a bat that infected an animal at a wildlife farm. Animals that were sold in wet markets like Huanan. But the report draws no absolute conclusion about the origin of the outbreak, instead reviewing possibilities and judging them from most likely to least likely. But every hypothesis, there are 4 in all, still needs to be more fully investigated.
All hypotheses are on the table and warrant complete and further studies.
There are also recommendations about what the next steps should be, which is why the WHO says this report is really just the beginning. I'm Britt Conway reporting.
Welcome back, everyone. Tonight is going to be a fairly warm night, and temperatures won't start cooling down until 2 a.m. So overall, tonight is going to be around 61 degrees with the winds coming from the south-southwestern direction at between 8 to 10 miles per hour. And if we take a look at what it's going to look like tomorrow morning, so at around 7 a.m., we're going to get some light rain. It'll be around 51 degrees. It'll cool down to 45 degrees at 10 a.m. with some rain showers. The rain will clear up around noon, and it will be 45 degrees and cloudy going into the afternoon. It'll be 46 degrees around 2 p.m. with some cloudy skies, and it'll warm up a little bit to 48 degrees around 4 p.m. with some cloudy skies, and then back to 47 degrees with some cloudy skies at 6. Now going into the 7-day forecast. Tomorrow the high will be 51 degrees and the low will be 28 with some morning showers. Thursday we're going to have a windy day. The high will be 31, the low will be 25. Friday the high will be 41 and the low will be 30. And then on Saturday the high will be 58 and the low will be 44. Easter Sunday we're going to have some beautiful weather. Mostly sunny all day with the high of 64 and the low at 32. And then on Monday, the high will be 70 with the low of 50. And on Tuesday, the high will be 74 with the low of 51. As we get into next week, we will start to see some warm weather. Have a happy Easter, everyone, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Back to you, Nadine.
Day 2 of the testimony in the Derek Chauvin's murder trial is underway with the continued questioning of a professional mixed martial arts fighter who stumbled upon the last moments of George Floyd's life, as well as a witness whose video of the interaction between Chauvin and Floyd went viral. Camila Bernard breaks down the big moments from court today.
A number of prosecution witnesses today describing what they saw in May of 2020. First, that professional fighter who said he called the police on the police, and then a number of others who were minors at the time of George Floyd's death. The defense trying to show that the crowd got louder and louder and at times possibly angrier and angrier, but they are going to have an uphill battle with all of this, especially with witnesses who were so emotional. One saying that when she looks at George Floyd, she thinks of her dad, her brothers, her uncles, her cousins, all who are black.
I believe I witnessed a murder. I felt the need to call the police.
That's what Tuesday's first witness, Donald Williams, a professional mixed martial arts fighter, said in court when asked why he called 911 after witnessing the last moments between former officer Derek Chauvin and George Floyd last May. Then a tense back and forth during the defense's cross-examination, attorney Eric Nelson repeatedly asking Williams if he became angry on scene.
You called him bogus.
I did.
You called him a bum at least 13 times.
That's what you counted in the video?
That's what I counted.
And that's what you got, 13. I was arrested.
Williams, who also works security, insisted he was controlled and professional the entire time. The next witness, a minor at the time, who did not testify on camera and was identified as DF in court documents, told the jury why she decided to pull out her phone and record what was happening outside Cup Foods.
It wasn't right. He was suffering. He was in pain.
She ended by telling the jury she still wishes she had done more to stop Chauvin.
It's like, it's not what I should have done. It's what he should have done.
And the youngest witness we heard from today, just 9 years old, she said she felt sad and mad and described seeing the officer hurt George Floyd. The defense did not question her. Reporting in Minneapolis, I'm Camila Bernal. Back to you.
And outside the trial, a local high school teacher chained herself to a metal fence near the county government center earlier this morning in protest. Kaya Hurt teaches 10th grade at a local high school and said she was showing her support for the families impacted by police violence. She remained bundled up outside and was relieved Floyd's family has been treated with dignity by authorities. And Hurt said she is hopeful that her school district will be supportive of her activism.
He was a protector. He was someone who we can go to when we were in trouble and in need of anything. Hopefully we will get justice because we have 27 million reasons why we should get justice.
There have been 450 police murders since 1984 in Minnesota. And I'm out here because we don't think that the local officials and state officials are doing anything about it.
President Joe Biden unveiled his first list of judicial appointments since he started his tenure in office. Our reporter Vivian Hawk has more on his plans to make federal courts more diverse. Vivian?
That's right. The Biden administration pledged early on to have diversity in their judicial nominees, and now they are looking to keep that promise. The list contained 11 nominees. Among them, there are 3 African-American women and 1 candidate who would become the first Muslim American federal judge in the U.S. government's history. Biden promised during his campaign to appoint the first African-American judge to the Supreme Court during his tenure if a vacancy comes. Biden said he continues to sign executive orders for not just equity issues, but for climate change and to deal with COVID-19.
Some of the executive actions I'm going to be signing today are going to help change the course of the COVID crisis, and we're going to combat climate change in a way that we haven't done so far, and advance racial equity and support other underserved communities. We're going to rebuild our economy as well.
In the Franklin Hall studio, this is Vivian Hawk.
Federal prosecutors have filed sex trafficking charges against former Jeffrey Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell. Authorities say she recruited and groomed a 14-year-old girl to engage in sex acts with Epstein as recently as 2004. Maxwell is behind bars and has been awaiting trial on other charges, alleging that she helped Epstein sexually abuse underage girls. She has pleaded not guilty to those charges and denied the allegations.
The fiasco in the Suez Canal involving the massive container ship that got stuck is now free, but it could disrupt supplies for weeks to come. CNN's Mandy Gaither has a closer look at the impact this could have on goods around the world.
The giant container ship that's been blocking the Suez Canal for nearly a week is finally free, but the economic fallout is far from over.
There's going to be a global disruption in the supply of goods, not immediately, but a few weeks from now.
Data from shipping expert Lloyd's List suggests nearly $10 billion worth of goods was disrupted each day. Experts say even before the Ever Given got stuck during a sandstorm and powerful winds last Tuesday, supply chains were stretched to the limits. Now experts say this fiasco is making it much more expensive to move goods around the world and causing shortages of everything from exercise bikes to cheese.
It may almost be invisible in certain areas to most people, but what they will see is an increased cost. It's going to be more expensive to haul goods. Vessels that are going around the Suez Canal have to use more fuel.
And the ripple effect of this incident will take a while to unravel. There were hundreds of vessels backed up in both directions. When traffic returns to normal, it may take days to clear the backlog, further delaying goods on their way to customers.
That cargo is not being offloaded, it's not being put on trucks and rail for distribution throughout Europe and England, and it's not being cross-loaded onto vessels sailing to other ports, for example, the United States or Canada.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Stay tuned for a breakdown of March Madness coming up in my sports report.
College students are making their interest into a career here in Kent. We have more on their efforts when we return.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So, yeah, I know. That's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
And now, your TV2 Sports Report.
Good evening, Kent State and all of Portage County. I am Nick Sommer with your Tuesday night sports report. The Kent State men's golf team currently sits in 4th place at Bulls Bay Intercollegiate. Cade Brentenstein, apologies if I butcher that, leads the Flashes after posting a second-round score of 72 and is tied for 7th at 144 under par. Chris Vandette birdied 5 times and was second for the team with 3 under par. The team will travel to Purdue for the Boilermaker Invitational April 10th to April 11th. Baylor and Arkansas both clash for a spot in the Final Four. Let's take a look at the highlight. Assist by Adam Flagler. Jared Butler drives down the middle, launches up a jump shot and hits it. Makio Teague, one-on-one, steps back and hits the jumper over the defender. Justin Smith with the assist to JT Noda, who hits the wide-open 3. Jared Butler picked off by Sills, who takes it the other way for the easy dunk. Davion Mitchell one-on-one drives past the defender and lays it in. Sill dishes it to Jalen Tate, who misses, but it gets picked up by Moody, who lays it in. Devontae Davis one-on-one crosses the defender, driving in and hits it for 2. Davion Mitchell brings it up, dishes to Teague, who is again wide open for another Baylor 3. Mitchell driving once again, finds Teague yet again in the corner for another 3. Now, Vital passes it to Teague, who misses it but comes back and slams down the bucket. Baylor will advance to the Final Four. Now, the March Madness bracket, as you can see, Houston, the number 2 seed, won, beating Oklahoma State. They will advance to the Final Four, as well as Baylor, we just saw, and Houston will be playing Baylor. Yesterday, we had some big matchups, as you just saw, and tonight we will also have some big matchups taking place. Both number 1 seeds, Gonzaga and Michigan. Gonzaga playing USC tonight at 7:15, and Michigan playing UCLA at 10 o'clock. Personally, I believe Gonzaga and Michigan, both 1 seeds, will go on to win and make it to the championship. That is all for your Tuesday night sports report. I'm Nick Sommer. Follow us on Twitter at TV2 KSU Sports for more athletics coverage. Have a great evening, Kent State.
Still to come on TV2 News, I know I rely on Google Maps for my directions, and now the company is making some changes. We have what you can expect from the app moving forward.
If I could go back and change it all, I would. I think I'm gonna miss you the most. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Or maybe it's just the little moments. If I could go back and change it all, if I could go back, I would. But I can't.
Awkward. I'm the awkward silence. You try to avoid me, then there I am again.
But an awkward silence can be a great thing.
Like Kelly here is about to demonstrate.
You haven't really been yourself lately. Are you okay?
Find out how you can help a friend with their mental health at seizetheawkward.org.
Welcome back. Google Maps won't necessarily default to get you to your destination the fastest way possible anymore. Instead, the company says the navigation algorithm will soon automatically select the most fuel-efficient route in order to minimize your environmental impact. But don't worry about things taking too long. Google says it will only steer drivers to the greenest option when the estimated time of arrival is similar to other routes.
The sneaker industry has risen in popularity as companies such as Nike and Adidas partner with fashion designers to create unique footwear. All of this has attracted the interest of college students, including some here in Kent. TV2's Troy Pierson has the story.
Sneaker culture is a growing and rapidly evolving industry. For the past 5 years, popular shoes from companies like Nike and Adidas have been attracting the interest of college students.
I think the major thing that got me interested in the sneakers was I started playing basketball, and then I started looking at people's film for basketball, and obviously Michael Jordan was a big idol for a lot of people, and so I started looking at a lot of documentaries about his life, and then I noticed the shoes he was wearing, and I really liked them.
Whether you're into basketball, football, or even skateboarding, or you just want to have a cool outfit, chances are there's probably a good sneaker for you.
As the industry grows more popular, the price of hype sneakers becomes an investment for people to resell and make major profits. As more people gain interest in hype sneakers, footwear companies resort to using raffle systems to sell their products to the public.
The Nike sneakers app is pretty cool because if you've been a longtime member of Nike, sometimes they'll give you exclusive access to certain pairs.
Hype sneakers are becoming more attractive as companies partner with fashion designers to make unique footwear. The growing diversity of design in this industry has inspired some students to work at footwear stores like Famous Footwear and Finish Line.
I really like it because it gets me more into the shoe industry, so I know kind of like what's popular and what's not and like what I should be going for.
As the industry implements a variety of designs and colors from various sports and activities, some hype fashion enthusiasts are always on the hunt for the latest styles.
I have a huge collection, but I have a small collection all the time, and what I'll do is I'll buy one thing and then I'll go get the next, or I'll sell one thing and then I'll buy the next thing that I want.
Reporting for TV2 News, I'm Troy Pierson.
Well, that's definitely a lot of shoes, Jenna.
For sure.
That's all we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us.
And remember, you can find the latest updates and breaking news on KentWired.com and our social media at KentWired. I'm Jenna Borthwick.
And I'm Nadine Battah. Enjoy the rest of your evening, Portage County.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere, and just growing up the way I grew up and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzz and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So, yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread. and kiss them all soundly. And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.